What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today once again now with node 6 and as well as the last final node using the Annihilator characters, going through the Shadow King trials at difficulty level 15. So these are levels I have my characters anyways. It looks like you can save a bit with Silver Surfer. You don't want to bring out beyond level 90. So you can see I stopped at gear tier 17 there. Ultimate's gear tier 18, level 95. He's going to be a very important piece, as you'll see, as we navigate through some of these nodes. And then obviously you're going to get some further value of Thanos Endgame, Gladiator, as well as Gore, all brought up already into the arena meta, which helps a lot because we're getting the arena bonuses. For the packs that we're going through, I was able to activate everything with the exception of the first two here being the HP one. So without further ado, let's get started here into the runs, respectively for node 6 and the last and final node with Odin. Now, obviously, having these characters as higher as possible, it's going to make it easier. But for myself, like I said, I think just having 3 out of the 5 tunes being built up to the max, because they're going to give a lot of value. What you'll probably have a hard time in the beginning here is dealing with the panda pools, because they actually hit really hard. So you definitely want to be mindful of that, right? So I start off with Gore's ultimate there, and then I use ultimates actually just to start off with one of the Sasquatches. But you'll see here, we basically need the synergy of Silver Surfer here to make sure that he also ability blocks the other Sasquatch. And yeah, I think hardest part is, like I said, sometimes the panda pools can just completely blow up your team, and you just have to be very mindful of that. So thankfully we do have the support of Gladiator. He does a phenomenal job just kind of soaking up the damage, but my weak point is Silver Surfer, so I got to be very careful with him when I'm using his abilities. Now, what you'll start seeing after that first kind of wave of attacks is that the panda pools are going to get their taunt, and you do have to focus them. And this is what I mean. You get this kind of burst damage coming from the panda pools. Chances are Thanos Endgame is probably going to proc his passive, and that's going to be very important. And then yeah, that's going to be the key, because you do want to be focusing on the adjacent attacks on panda pool, but also because now that we got exposure on one of the Sasquatches, it's going to allow us to generate energy, which is very important. Then we got a big Thanos Endgame ultimate here, just to make sure we do all that damage, but as well reduce their positive dust. And now it puts us in a good position because we clean up one enemy on the left side, and now we can kind of focus in a little bit on some of the panda pools happening here. So we're now just doing work and focusing on the panda pools, because like I said, the sooner they go down, the easier it's going to make for these nodes. We get another Ultimus ult here. I was hoping this would actually finish off one of them, but yeah, this is kind of the drill. Make sure you're focusing in on and taking down the panda pools out of this mixture as soon as you can. And the worst part is when you find out you actually take them down, but they come back reviving, right? So you're almost better off just stunning and controlling. But like I said, I'm not really sure how this node was designed, but yeah, they seem like they come back even without, they have that chance always, right? That now spawns a Deadpool who's very dangerous, because now that he's here, he's going to give some extra revive, if I'm not mistaken, for Panda Pool. Yeah, as you can see, any chance I get, I try to take down the exposure enemies, and unfortunately I did finish off the panda pool, but at least we were actually officially able to wipe out that wave in one of the panda pools. And now important to focus on one of the ability blocks of North Star, which controls his ultimate. But this is probably going to be the hardest one, which is Old Man Logan actually spawning at the very end here. So you definitely want to focus everything on him, but also be mindful of the fact that we're bringing in Annihilators for the last node. So you definitely need to make sure that you're watching your cooldowns as well. Thanos getting his turn here, we go ahead and we do shut down Old Man Logan by stunning him. That way it's going to prevent him from actually making some attacks here. Yeah, and then at this point, really just want to focus everything on Old Man Logan. He's kind of the priority in this last wave. Everybody else does not matter. So as long as you're, getting some energy, using exposure on him, and basically just trying to take him down as soon as possible. Anytime you get a Thanos stun, I highly recommend to use it, just because you're going to be granting exposure again, and he puts your team in a good position to generate ability energy. So can't highly recommend that enough. Old Man Logan's go down, and that's basically a good game here for this node. Okay, so last and final node, guys, and I do want to point out that I was not able to actually finish this node with my Annihilators team because of the fact that this node is really designed to be against Annihilators. So you can actually one-shot this with Illuminati. For myself, I was just trying to bring this to the finish line all the way to Odin. So for whatever reason, the Sif and the initial waiver does a lot of damage, so you definitely want to focus on her. Otherwise, everybody else is not really a factor. These Thors do some devastating retaliation damage, but that probably is gonna, once again proc your Thanos passive, and it's gonna put you in a great position to just clean these enemies up. There's another wave of Asgardians enemies that you have to deal with, but like I said, I think the only one was making sure that you focus on Sif, and then I did use the ability block in the beginning on Sylvie just to make sure that there wasn't any additional damage being on our team. One of these three go down, and it is actually going to spawn the next wave as Guardians enemies that you'll be up against here, including Valkyrie, Teen Loki, and a Beta Ray build. Now, landing the stun on Beta Ray build was nice because you can get some exposure, and once again, we really want to be focusing in on that stun with the ability energy, because you can keep bringing that back up for Gladiator, and then obviously Gladiator can provide support and sustain for the team. But yeah, no issues with this wave, more so just playing it out. You may want to be mindful obviously of the Valkyrie because she can grant energy, but this one is not a concern. It's really the next wave that's leading into Odin that you want to be careful with your cooldowns. Two enemies remaining here, and yeah, it's nice. You still get a little bit of time before the wave drops, so take advantage of that. And here we go. This is the last and final wave before Odin. You definitely want to be mindful here and control the Vow. Landing a stun on her is good because you can use exposure to grant energy, but as well on obviously controlling the waves too. Yeah, nothing really to say in this wave, to be honest. It's easy. You might want to make sure that Gore has his ability block ready to go for Odin, but otherwise, it's gonna be pretty business because these enemies aren't gonna be doing much to you. But yeah, you'll see how unstoppable Odin is once he spawns. But you can see this wave is quite easy to go through. Everyone's debuffed, and you're probably not gonna have any issues whatsoever. Yeah, and I think Odin spawns when there's like 1 or 2 enemies remaining out of this wave, so just something to be watchful there as well. So you'll see it right here. I finish off Sylvie, and then boom, Odin does join at the 4 4 enemies remaining mark. So just something to be mindful of there as well. Thankfully, everybody else is already weak HP. We have Val as well, an opportunity with exposure, so that was kind of nice. I tried to land the ability blocks, but again, maybe because my Surfer is only level 90, maybe you need them higher, but So this is what I was talking about earlier. I landed the ability block on Odin, and it helps a little bit because he can't obviously use a special. But this team, maybe because like I don't have everybody at level 100 and so forth, but it's just not designed to take down Odin. You'll see here we're just trying to wrap things up here with Val, get that additional ability energy, and then at this point it is kind of 5v1 here against Odin, and we're trying to do as much as we can. But you'll see we're not really successful with the damage. And you'll notice after each attack is that Odin obviously retaliates, and it just hurts every single time. Your Annihilators team is probably only going to survive 2 or 3 turns. Ideally, if you're able to get Odin to use a special, is what I was trying to do here. It wasn't good that my Gore obviously uses ability block. Chances are Gladiator's probably gonna be the last and final person standing. So thankfully now Odin did use a special. That's good for us, but buys us a couple turns to utilize and bring in Illuminati. So yeah, again guys, not perfect, but I think this kind of sets us up. No matter what, if you have 5 Illuminati characters, they're gonna be able to get the job done for Odin. So Annihilators can only get you partially there, which is one to showcase. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.